Hello everyone. Hope you guys are all doing well. Come on in the room. Come on in the room and get settled. Really excited to do this reading for you all on this very lazy, sleepy Sunday night. I hope everyone is safe. If you are in an area where the storm hit particularly hard, I hope that you have everything you need. Um, I hope that your power wasn't interrupted and that your water is safe. And if they are, I hope that things come back together very soon. I am Mambo. I am the Coven Mother of Vision of Dawn Tour. I am the founder and facilitator of the Charm School Mentorship Program. I am your weekly reader, and I am Adult Rich straight up out of Oakland. So hello. Come on in the room. I'm going to be really honest. The biggest impact that this storm has had on me is that I am incredibly and deeply sleepy. I've been napping all throughout the day, like just napping. I did not know that I would have internet service today. I had no way of knowing how the storm was going to impact Atlanta. So I made it a point not to have any reading scheduled today. So this has been the first Sunday in quite some time where I've had literally nothing on my schedule, and I have used it to sleep, rest, and hibernate deliciously. So I am well rested, but still craving more sleep. If any of you guys know you weren't just being lazy, winter storms make you sleepy. Ice storms make you sleepy. When you look at history and when you look at how our ancestors typically engaged with this time of the year, this is a period of rest. We're literally not supposed to be doing anything in the month of January. January is supposed to be an entire month of rest and recuperation and resetting your body clock, right? But capitalism, but Western society, right? So we push through because we have to. No, you weren't being lazy. Your body was giving you what you needed. It just was. So anyone else who thought that they were being lazy, you weren't. You're doing what the season is calling you to. You're doing what the storm was calling you to do, which is to rest. Hello to you too, Nicole. It's good to see you. Very safe, very warm, very happy, very blessed. I know that everybody can't say that given what's going on with the weather right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the reading so that way we're not here for very long tonight. Again, because I know some of you guys want to get back to hibernating or preparing for the week ahead of you. If this is your first time tuning in, this is a general reading, a collective reading, just to give us all insight into the energy that lies ahead of us this week. Some of you may be here because you want to get a personal question answered, and I definitely will take a break to do that once the general reading is over. But I have 4 spreads: a general, love and romance, money, health and wellness to get through before I take questions from the audience. So also, please be patient and listen to the general reading, because sometimes you guys have individual questions that get answered in the collective readings, okay? So be present, be patient, be here with us. If you've not already hit those scale emojis, please do so that I know that you're with me and that the energy is in sync. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. Let's look into the general insight for the week. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need about the energy of the week ahead of us? What do we need to know about the week of January 26th through February 1st? Give us insight into the nature of any lessons, blessings, challenges, breakthroughs, experiences that will come across our path over the next 7 days. Who do we need to be and what do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environments that will allow us to move through this energy with precision, mastery, and wisdom? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Hello, no name. Hello, Trina. Good to see you. Clarify the Nine of Swords. What do we need to know about the Nine of Swords? In the spirit of incubation, shadow work, and reflection, this is a week where, yes, this is a week where some of us are really forced to think about who we are in terms of the narratives we tell about ourselves. What I mean by that is that sometimes when you experience a heartbreak, when you experience a trauma, you can get so used to talking about that experience as though it is the sum of your identity that you don't even know you're doing it, right? There's a stillness that comes this week where you are forced to recognize how the narratives you've adopted are literally shaping your experiences and why it's important for you to purge, to release these false beliefs that you have about yourself and that you've accumulated over time. Not just because they don't allow you to see yourself clearly, but because they literally steal your power away from you, okay? This is a week where you are forced, not through brutality, but just through stillness and personal reflection, to really understand how that emotional permanence, that refusal to let go of these experiences is holding you captive. Now, even though this is a big realization, it's a powerful realization because it allows a lot of you guys to move forward, right? Eight of Swords. Some of you guys are speaking limitation into your life because of false beliefs that have been imprinted on you through negative experiences, right? You're doing this thing, and we talked a lot about this actually in last week's happy hour, where we talked about financial blockages caused through the spirit of rejection. Some of you guys are holding on to memories of rejection and allowing that to really shape how you speak about your life, how you speak about your future, how you speak about your ability to take on love and new connection. And because you don't understand that you're doing this, you're speaking a lot of your fear and limitation and causing fear and limitation in your life, right? And this is coming up because your heart is literally calling to you. It's calling to you to say, hey, you're neglecting me, right? First of all, you're neglecting me. You need to pay attention to me. You need to pay attention to what's going on with me. But the only reason why you're holding on to these negative narratives and these memories is because you lack trust, right? Something has happened that has really negatively impacted your ability to trust yourself, trust the universe, trust the ability for you to have better and new experiences. So you get really clear about the limitation that you're speaking, how it's related to heart chakra blockages, and this turns into an opportunity for you to really teach yourself how to call in something different, right? I always say that the Page of Swords is they're a student that's learning the difference between using their tongue and their thoughts to harm or to heal themselves, right? And a lot of the limitation that you speak over your life is harming you. Your ability to see it clearly gives you an opportunity to really learn how to shift your language, how to shift the narrative, how to speak differently about yourself, right? And to take back your power. Understanding that there is nothing left for you to learn. This is a time for you to really take back your power. And sometimes taking back your power is simply walking away from something that doesn't serve you any longer. I think this week you guys get tired, or we, the collective, gets tired of our old experiences. We get tired of being associated with these bumps in the road. And because we get tired of being associated with them, we want something new. We crave something new. And we're ready to leave that in the past and take on a new journey that allows us to really move closer to who it is we see ourselves, want to see ourselves as, who we want to be. And this gives us tremendous confidence, right? Sun card. This gives us tremendous confidence. It allows us to not see ourselves rooted in pain from the past, but to see ourselves in the love and the vitality and the energy we have around us. the possibility we have around us. There's an optimism that comes from understanding that this happened and it's old and I get to walk away from it and I get to leave it in the past, right? And in doing this, we can pull ourselves out of that nightmare energy, right? We stop reliving the same wound over and over again. This is a week where we make decisions. Are we going to continue to speak limitations over ourselves based on our fears, based on our past heartbreaks, based on difficulty? Or are we going to recognize that just because someone played a bunch of mind games and manipulated us, right? Just because we were force-fed false notions around who we are, right? That doesn't mean that we have to stand in it, we have to live in it. This is a week where we go from wallowing in the pain and manipulations of people who played mind games over us in the past, and we take control of our future, right? Instead of being wounded by previous debilitated King of Swords, we teach ourselves how to be a King of Swords in our life. And what does it mean when we are the King of Swords in our life? It means that we are strategic. It means that we have a clear vision. It means that anything that is not in alignment with that clear vision that we have of ourselves, of our lives, of our future, and our capacity, we give no ear, lip service to it, right? I always mention, and because it's so important for me in terms of remembering, the Rider-Waite, or the traditional representation of the King of Swords, literally shows a king on a cloud, on his throne, wielding his knife, wielding his sword. What does that mean for us? Anybody who tries to bring us back into old understandings of ourselves, anyone who tries to throw our wounds from the past in our face, anyone who wants to hold us locked in low vibrational, broken understandings of ourselves or our future, we don't have to engage in that. We don't have to engage in it. Anything that is in conflict with our ability to see ourselves as a master, a professor, a guide of our own life and our own circumstances, we don't have to engage with them. Song lyric I always think about with the King of Swords. When Kendrick said, people think that they can try me because they knew me since I was a kid, but I'll cut my granny off if she don't see it how I see it. That's King of Swords energy, right? This is a week where instead of us being wrapped up in painful misrepresentations, rather than wallowing over the ways in which people may have misrepresented us or tried to gaslight us into not understanding ourselves, we, Ace of Cups, forgive ourselves, right? Because that's all it is. You got so confused and gaslit and you feel guilty. You feel like you let yourself down. Forgive you. Forgive you so that you can clear your heart chakra. And let that process of getting back to understanding yourself take place. You are far more charismatic, powerful, capable than whoever this asshole is from your past wanted you to believe you are. And the longer you sit in those old narratives, the more that you replay them in your head, the more you default to them when things get tough, the more that those people win. The way that you win is by standing in your power, leaving all that shit in the past, walking forward in a future that is new, and understanding that you are the ruler of your life. You are the one that has control, okay? That is our general wisdom for the week. I'm actually really excited. I have reading scheduled with a couple of you all, so I'm excited to see how this particular message shows up in your lives. I don't even know or trust who I am past what I've conditioned myself to be for acceptance. You can change that. You can change that very easily if you wanted to. And you may need a little help and guidance around it, but you're more than capable of changing that. You're a Virgo, Jacinia. You're a fucking Virgo. Like, if you want to change that, you absolutely can. You just have to be committed to doing so. And I think, and we've had this conversation before, one-on-one, I think it's overdue for time for you to do that. because the majority of the people that are in your life now, in this moment, currently, and who are coming into your life in the immediate future, none of them see you the way that you see that old version of yourself. So I would love to see you, and I encourage you to take on the challenge of releasing that. Let's go into love or money. Spirit wants me to do money next and then love. Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits that walk with me. My elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need in regards to our relationship with money as we enter the week of January 26th through February 1st? Who do we need to be and what do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environments that shape or imprint our relationship with the flow of money and abundance in our lives? Help us have wisdom over what the next 7 to 10 days have in store for us. Help us understand what we need to do so that we can position ourselves to have more increase than debt over these next few days. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Hello, Sanidra. Hello, KFS. AD411, hello. I don't know what your name is. I feel like I've seen that avatar before, though. If this is your first time here, welcome and hello. If this is not your first time here, welcome back. And don't be shy to introduce yourself in the group or in the comments, because I do like to know who it is I'm speaking to when I do these collective readings. Clarify the Seven of Swords. What do we need to know about the Seven of Swords? Some of you guys, there is a risk or a move you need to make in terms of finances that goes against how you were raised. I see now why false programming came up in the collective message, because when it comes to your money, there's something you need to do, and you're afraid to do it because an old version of yourself, could be your child self, could be your adolescent self, was told that this was either reckless or not a worthy endeavor. But realistically, you're not going to get where you want to be financially until you do this, right? And this could be investing, this could be going back to school, but there's some sort of risk you need to take that you are running away from, you're shying away from. And you're doing it in that really traditional Two of Swords way where you're telling yourself, I don't have enough information. I need to research more. I need to study more. And that study is just a form of stagnation that's blinding you from the reality that you need to make a move. Six of Cups. Really spend this week speaking to your younger self, speaking to your inner child, and asking them what their beliefs are about money, right? I try to do this, and I haven't done it in a while, but when I'm aligned and when I'm disciplined, I try to do this once a month, right? It's good to check in with your old self and see what beliefs they have that are not in alignment with where you are now and where you're going, so that you can let them know it's safe to let that go and not believe that, right? And Six of Cups is coming up because there's wisdom and peace and honestly safety that you need to be feeding to the younger version of yourself, because that younger version of yourself is what gets riled up and tells you no and tells you to stop when it's time to take a risk, when it's time to make a move, right? If you were moving from your present version, you would have been done this. But because you're not, and it's old you, it's little you, that's saying, hey, we're scared. Hey, we were told not to do that. Hey, don't do that. It's keeping you from moving down this path. It's keeping you from taking that leap that's going to bring you forward, that's going to bring you closer to the progression that you claim you want, right? And this is definitely a form of self-sabotage, but it's a form of self-sabotage that's also reflected in your immediate community, right? So it's both meanings with the Seven of Swords here. There are people around you that are telling you to not do the thing because it benefits them for you to not do the thing. They get to take that opportunity. They get to move forward, right? But also, like, you are self-sabotaging yourself because you think that you're being safe. And you are absolutely not. Hey, Aisha, good to see you. I knew that avatar looked familiar. I think the last time your name said something else, but that avatar did look familiar. So yeah, this is why you have to talk to your younger self. This is why you have to do that inner child work, because he, she, they thinks that they're keeping you safe. And when they were engaging in this behavior or this belief, it probably was a belief that kept them safe at that age, at that period of time in your life. But now it's showing up as self-betrayal. Now it's showing up as robbing you of opportunity, right? And so in order for you to get closer to the financial stability and abundance you want, you have to move differently. You have to have a different experience so that you can have a different result. You're not going to get what you want if you don't act differently. Give yourself a different experience. Build a different energetic karma around your money and your finances. And it requires a lot of faith, right? If you don't trust that risks pay off, if you don't trust your ability to move differently and get different results, if you don't believe that you can have better, guess what's going to happen? You're never going to get that better. And the more that you continue to move in the same way, out of fear, out of refusal, the more you are going to find yourself stuck in the same position, if not a worse position, right? Stop telling yourself that you don't have enough information. Stop telling yourself that you need to think it further through. No, you don't. You've already overthought it more than enough. And the overthinking, the evaluation, the research that you claim you're doing is just stagnation. It's just a way of blinding yourself from the fact that you have to move. It's just an excuse to stand still because you're afraid to leap the way that the Fool card is calling you to do, right? And here's the thing, for a lot of you, regardless of what the profession or the field that you are in, this leap has to do with being seen. Part of the reason why you're comfortable with being stagnant and hiding is because then people won't see you. And if people don't see you, they won't evaluate you, right? But also, if people don't see you, they can't celebrate you. If people don't see you, they can't support you. If people don't see you, they can't root for you to win, which is all what the Six of Wands is about. People witnessing the breakthrough and the milestone and being excited about it and celebrating you and wanting to not only celebrate you, but support you in moving towards further breakthrough. But you compromise all of that when you stay wrapped up in the past. You use old information to inform your current moves. And when you stagnate out of fear. Stop being afraid of being seen. Another thing we talked about, right? We just talked about this when we talked about spirit of rejection. That fear of being seen is a part of the spirit of rejection. And there are too many people out there that want to see you win, that want to serve, want to support your forward movement. They will never find you if you continue to hide, right? You already know what you want. You got to move towards it. I'm going to say it again. You already know what you want. You got to move towards it. This is a week of action. This is a week of action, but you're not going to take the action if you keep thinking about your past. You're not going to take the action if 6-year-old, even 16-year-old you is telling you, no, we can't do that. We're not allowed to move that way. So speak to your younger self. There's a false belief that an old version of you has that is, and I'm going to say it the way the Spirit just told me to say it, it's making you poor. It's making you poor. You're moving from this heart space of your younger self. And of course, it's going to be afraid to take the risks that adult you, that grown you need to take. You got to release that. Talk to little you, let them know that you're okay, that it's safe to move differently, so that you can actually step forward and take advantage of these opportunities for progression, to climb the ladder, to elevate, to have upward mobility, okay? I also want to highlight, before I move on, we just did a money reading, not a single pentacle came up, okay? For those of you, quick tarot lesson, for those of you who've never taken a tarot class from me before, it's just as important to look at what's not in the spread as it is to see what is in the spread. We just did a whole money reading and it's all wands and cups. We just did a whole money reading, and aside from the one major arcana card, it is all wands and it is all cups. How are your emotions impacting your actions? How are your emotions limiting your actions? When it comes to your money this week, those are all things you need to be mindful of, that you all need to be in conversation with your spirits about, that you need to be in meditation over, okay? Let's get into love and romance next, and then we'll wrap up with health and wellness. I did not burn my Apollo. That's what feels off. Something felt off. Give me 1 second to burn my Apollo. Nicole says, this is ticking so many boxes for me. Good. I'm glad. I'm glad it is. If I get on here and I do a reading and it doesn't resonate with anybody here, then something's off. So thank you for sharing that this resonates. If it resonates with anyone else, let me know. Please remember, this is a collective reading, right? When you guys hear me pray over the cards, you hear me ask, what do we as a collective need to know, right? So this should be resonating, if not with all, at least a good majority of you, right? So I hope that, thanks Nicole for confirming that, but I hope that this sits with other people as well. Same, talking directly to me. Good, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits who walk with me, amalgamated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need at this time? About love and romance, the flow of love, the energy of love in our lives during the week of January 26th through February 1st. Who do we need to be and what do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environments that impact our experiences of love? If there are any blockages, blessings, breakthroughs, lessons related to love, romance, and matters of the heart coming our way over the next 7 to 10 days, please highlight and illuminate them now so that we know how to best move. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. A lot is falling out, a lot has flipped over. I think some of us who are watching this, and I just took one this past week, so I may do another just for safety. I think a lot of us who are watching this right now are long overdue for a spiritual bath, and specifically a spiritual bath that strips away negative energy. Why am I saying this? This Eight of Swords keeps coming up heavy, and y'all see me shuffling, so you know I'm not doing anything weird, but this Eight of Swords in both decks keeps making a visit, right? The two cards that fell out in the shuffle, I typically wait to do the cards that fell out, but I'm gonna start. Six of Swords and Eight of Swords. Some of you guys are afraid to move forward and to move differently when it comes to love and romance. You have a false belief that it's not going to get better. And you project that false belief that things are not going to improve onto your present moment. And in that projection, you manifest some less than ideal experiences of your love life. And this is for both people who are married, who are single, or who are just dating, right? The more you dwell on what you fear, the more it will manifest. The more you tell yourself that your partner is lazy and doesn't care about your feelings, the more you will show up in a way where they are disconnected and don't want to express care over you, right? And it also prevents you from moving forward. Six of Swords is a card about moving forward so that you can have different results. If you don't believe that that will work for you, you're never going to take the step of moving forward, right? And you guys have to trust that your spirits want you to be loved, and they want you to have the kind of love that you want to have in your life. So if they are nudging you to move away from something, if they are nudging you to move differently through your behavior, words, and actions, that is because it's going to bring you a different result, right? Could this be with your immediate ones too? When you say immediate ones, what do you mean, baby? I don't know what you mean by immediate ones. Do you mean like your intimate relationships, not necessarily romantic? Absolutely. If that's what you mean, then yes. It can be with family, absolutely. World card. World card. It is time for you to move into a new chapter in your life where things work out in your favor, where things are aligned towards you to have what you want. This is a celebratory energy, right? Your love life is not as downtrodden as some of you guys want to believe it is. I don't know any other way to say it. But until you celebrate, until you express gratitude, until you recognize where you are, it's going to be hard for you to call in that abundance and those new opportunities, right? Some of you guys, again, you're forlorn over the fact that you're single. If you wasn't single, you wouldn't be able to meet the person that you're supposed to be aligned with, right? Some of you guys are ungrateful about the relationship you're currently in. After you did all this whining and complaining about wanting somebody, honor what you have, right? Instead of being fearful, right? But the world card is coming up to say, hey, there's a new energy coming around, and this new energy is one that you have been praying for, working for, and preparing for. Be celebratory around it. If you can't be celebratory, then that's only going to make things more difficult for you. This is a time of transformation, right? Those old habits of being fear-driven and lack-driven when it comes to love, and Spirit is telling me to say seduction. When it comes to love, when it comes to seduction, you got to leave some shit behind. There's a personal transformation within you that needs to change. I think why Spirit is bringing up seduction is because some of you guys feel like there's not enough lust, enough passion in the relationships that you're in, but you got to take responsibility for your role in that. Let some old habits die. Try something new. Be a new person in order to bring that in. This week brings you a hangman moment. It brings you an opportunity for reflection, right? It brings you an opportunity to have a paradigm shift, right? That is a result of, hold on one second. I have to answer this. Hello? Oh, girl. Fuck you. If you ever want to piss a Taurus off, if you ever want to make a Taurus upset, call them from a different number after you block them. If you ever want to bring a rage out of a Taurus, violate a boundary after they've set it and see what the fuck happens. Okay? And that person knew what they were doing because they used an area code that they knew I wasn't going to ignore. Present moment, present moment, present moment, present moment, present moment. But you are given the blessing and the gift, though uncomfortable, to really be able to see the fullness of your situation, right? And that new wisdom allows you a paradigm shift that can prepare you to move differently and call in different results when it comes to your love life and your experiences of love, right? Now, here's the thing. This wisdom is a blessing, and this divine moment is a blessing. This position where you are entering a new chapter, all of that is a blessing. It is not without courage, though. You don't get to move easily. You have to be brave. You have to look the challenges in the face. That's the thing about Death card and Revelation. And we have two cards of Revelation. We have the Death card and we have the Hangman, right? In face of this revelation, you got to move differently. You got to be brave. Some of you guys are, Spirit is speaking. Some of you guys are more comfortable with feeling victimized by love than you are empowered by love. Because if you are victimized by love, if you tell yourself, only this type of people is attracted to me, or I'm always going to have this negative experience, then you yourself don't have to be different. You yourself don't have to be brave. You yourself don't have to take on the courage necessary to show up differently in different environments. And here's the thing, you're not going to get what you want from love until you do that. That's why the Strength card is here. It's not going to be until you are capable and vulnerable enough to look change in the face and embrace it that you are going to get a different experience. That's just the reality of the situation. So you can continue going back to this Eight of Swords to wallow in fear and victimhood and to project the worst onto your life. Or you can put your big girl panties or drawers on, big boy drawers on, and move differently and be brave and go after what it is you actually want. You feel like you're not getting the passion you want in your relationship. What are you doing to be sexy and to call that in? You feel like you're only attracting fuckboys. Why do you hang out in fuckboy environments? Are you going to be brave enough to get cute and go to the business mixer and be around the men and women of business, the people that have something going on in their? Are you going to be brave enough to do those things, or are you going to continue to choose your fear and then complain that life is giving you the short end of the stick, right? I think some of us, and I'm using us loosely, some of us, because this is a collective reading, some of us don't want to be brave because we think it's all doom and gloom. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Change does not have to be doom and gloom. Knight of Wands, if you allow yourself to be in that dance of life and really have some joy and seeing yourself, have the fun being the initiator, have fun being the aggressor, have fun charging and going after what you want, it can actually be a really pleasurable experience, right? But if you sit in stillness and fear and imagine the worst, of course you're going to tell yourself it's all pain, doom, and gloom. But you will actually have a lot more joy if you let yourself be in the present moment instead of wallowing in the past when it comes to love and romance. Go after what you want. Go after what you want unapologetically. Stop hyperfixating on your fear and calling your fear in. Go after what you want with vigor and passion and believe that you know enough to get closer to it. So to summarize this love and romance reading, shit ain't gonna change until you get up and wash your ass. What does that mean? It's not gonna change until you get up and change and move differently. The longer you sit around and complain and talk about how you only attract you will continue to get more right? You have to move differently in love in order to call in new love. And this is a new and opportune time to do that. This is the perfect time to do that. But here's the thing. You do not get to run from your transformation and blame everybody else. You don't. You don't. If you want differently, you got to be differently. But you don't get to sit there, project the worst onto your life, call in the worst into your life, and then blame everybody else. You have to leave that behind and move forward if you want different, okay? I like being emo. Okay, well then you gotta accept what comes with that. If that's what you like, then cool. But you gotta accept what comes with it. You can't have it both ways, baby. You can't. Let's look into our health and wellness for the week. Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits, walk with me. Now let's take my elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need about our physical, spiritual health and wellness as we go into the week of January 26th through February 1st? If there are any blockages, barriers, challenges, breakthroughs as it relates to our physical, spiritual, mental health, and wellness, please highlight them now. Give us insight into the habits we need to release, increase or sustain to have a good balance of holistic health. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Clarify the Fool card. What do we need to know about the Fool card? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Stop, and this message came up last week. If you know you want to enroll in that dance class, if you know you want to be in that fitness class, if you know you want to join that gym, just go ahead and do it. Please don't let your feelings around imposter syndrome keep you from doing the things you need to do for your health. A lot of you all have not, y'all told yourselves y'all was going to increase your physical activity as a part of your New Year's resolution. We ain't even, I don't mean to call y'all the N-word. We haven't even gotten to February yet. And a lot of y'all have given up on it because you're afraid of what other people are going to say or how you're going to look in that environment. Stop doing that goofy shit. Stop holding yourself small. And then, even though this is coming up in the health reading, this is coming up as a general message from Spirit. Stop holding yourself small and not doing the things that you know you want to do because you are afraid of what other people are going to say or how it's going to look. Knight of Cups. This typically represents a romantic offering from someone else or a need for us to pour into our creative capacity. But in this context of this health reading, this represents the kind of care we need to be pouring into ourselves, right? Some of us are so much more comfortable with romancing, pouring into nurturing other people that we openly and actively neglect ourselves, right? So the Knight of Cups is coming along to say, like, what do you need? What do you need to feel loved on? What do you need to feel whole? And how do you give that to yourselves? Some of you guys need to write your resolutions down. You have not already done that. You need to do a health vision board, right? There are things you know you want to do, but you've not committed them to paper. You've not made them, you've not written out a schedule or a list. Make sure that you do that before this month is over, okay? Do not let February show up without writing out, even if it's just a list of 5 things that you really want to commit to when it comes to making sure that your health is balanced and nurtured, okay? I'm going to see if I can hold all this up together. Fool card, clarified by the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, right? This Fool card message keeps coming up. There are risks you need to take, things you need to do to pour into yourself. And you're not doing them, A, because of you're used to being on empty. right? You're not used to nurturing yourself. You feel like nurturing yourself is a selfish act. But also, you don't understand that it doesn't matter how many affirmations you do, that you have to be disciplined around your emotions as well, right? So all this is coming up to say that the thing that is holding you back from making change as it relates to your physical, spiritual, mental health, and wellness is a lack of discipline as well as a lack of focus on your own care and needs. Stop hiding behind the needs of other people. Stop telling yourself that you don't have capacity to take care of yourself because you're busy nurturing everyone else. Stop thinking that emotional care and self-care is just bubble baths and eating treats. Self-care and self-love is also discipline. Discipline is love. Discipline is love, right? With the King of Cups being the loving and compassionate Father, he understands that he has to be disciplined with his children or with himself in order to show love. So you guys got to work on your discipline, right? That's just a thing. Increase in physical activity, the card of the athlete, the King of Wands. Some of you all need to increase your part of the reason why you deal with depressive feelings, why you deal with sadness, why you deal with an inability to think clearly is because you're not getting enough physical activity. Is the long and short of it. When the King of Wands comes up, that's the message in a health reading, right? Also, some of you guys don't look the way you want to, and that's not a read, that's just the reality. King of Wands is deeply confident in their physical body. You can't tell the King of Wands they ain't fine. You can't fucking tell them they ain't fine, right? If you don't feel comfortable with how you look, change it. And the only way you will be able to change it is by moving your body, treating your body differently, doing differently with your body. Some of you guys need to buy new clothes. This is not just about the physical activity. Some of you guys have been, that's why this Queen of Cups is coming up. I see it now. Okay. That's why the Queen of Cups is coming up now. This is the lesson for the mothers. It's cute that you went and bought all that shit for your children for Christmas or for Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate. But part of the reason why you don't even want to get up and go to the gym is because you don't have cute gym clothes. Go buy yourself some cute gym clothes. Stop using not having the outfits you want and the things you need to adorn yourself as an excuse to not go where you need to go, right? Those things, they may seem silly, right? They may seem trivial, but it will put a battery in your back and make you much more passionate about going out and doing what you want to do, right? Ace of Wands, new enthusiasm around your passions. Part of the reason why you aren't passionate about going to the gym is because you don't want to be the person in there in your husband's sweatshirt and your sweatpants from 2019. But that's not, nobody's telling you to do that. That's you doing that to you, right? So take care of yourself, nurture yourself, get yourself the things you need. Get cute so that you feel cute, and that will embolden you, Ace of Wands, to follow through on your workouts and your exercise. But this imposter syndrome needs to die. It just needs to die. A lot of, whether it's Pilates, whether it's the green juices, whether it's doing meatless Mondays, whether it is just being more in your meditative practice, there are things related to you all's health and wellness that you're not doing because you've convinced yourself that it feels inauthentic or that it doesn't look right on you, which is what imposter syndrome is. You feel like you're not supposed to be there, you're not supposed to be doing that, and that if you force yourself to do it, that somebody's going to call you out. And the only way we break out of imposter syndrome is through action, through literally training ourselves. Eight of Wands, right? Through literally, Eight of Pentacles, through literally training ourselves to do differently so that we get differently, right? And that brings us peace. You're only going to get to the point of peace when you trust yourself and you believe that you're worthy to do these things. But it's only going to happen when you take the first step. You got to do it. It can't just be something that's an escapist fantasy, right? A lot of you guys want to be the clean girl. You want to be a 5 a.m. girly. You want to be all these things, but you tell yourself that it's inauthentic. Okay, you're the only person that believes that. Every other person that is this type of person, They only got to be that way by getting up and doing it. So guess how you become that way? By getting up and doing it. Long and the short of it, give yourself the things you promised yourself last calendar year you were going to give in terms of your health. Go ahead and do it. And if part of the reason why it's hard for you to actually do it is because right now it's just escapist fantasy popping around in your head, take the time to write it out and make it a clear vision. And then once it is a clear vision, see it as an act of self-love and self-discipline to actually move forward with the execution of it, okay? If you feel like for whatever reason you're not cute enough, whatever that means, to be in these spaces, go and buy yourself some new fucking clothes. You went and spent all that money on them kids. You went and spent all that money on them children for toys and shit that we haven't even made it through January yet. I bet you they ain't even playing with none of that shit. That fucking PS5 is collecting dust in the corner, right? If you can go and spend all that money on them for bullshit that they're not going to play with, you can go down to the Target. Are we fucking with Target again? I don't know. You can go down to the Target, down to the Aloe, down to the Old Navy, and spend you $60 to $80 on a workout outfit and feel cute. Okay? But do whatever it is you need to do. I never wanted to be a 5 a.m. girly. I feel you, but some people do. Some people do want to be a 5 a.m. girly. I've had people sit in front of me and talk about it being an ancestral thing, which I get, right? Because people have had grandmothers who were up at 4 and 5 in the morning praying over the family, sweeping the floor, anointing the house. They didn't tell us that they were anointing the home, right? But I understand why people want that. I'm an early riser. I do my best prayer and my best preparation for things ahead of me when I rise early. But I can understand because it ain't no hoe. That shit is hard, especially if you don't go to bed till late. But I can understand why some people want it. Anyway, we're at the end of the collective reading for the week. I hope that those readings resonated with people. KFS may not have wanted to be a 5 a.m. girly, and that's fine for her. But for those of you who did want to be a 5 a.m. girly, nothing is stopping you from doing it except for you. And it may not be being a 5 a.m. girly. It may be being a vegan girly. It may be something about being, a boxing gym girly. It may be the hiking or the foraging girly. You know what it is that you want it to be for your health. The message is whatever that is, stand in it. Stand in it. Stop telling yourself that it's inauthentic. That's a worthiness blockage. You're the only person saying that stuff to yourself. Okay? All right, we are now at the end of the collective reading for the week. This is where I take questions from the audience. If anyone has a question that they would like for me to answer, go ahead and put your questions in the comments. I am accepting love offerings. My request is a minimum love offering of $8.88. If you don't have that and you need to give something different, or if you want to give more, that's totally fine, but submit your love offering before asking your question, okay? As you are submitting your love offerings and putting your questions forward, I'm going to go ahead and take a moment just to update you all on things that I'm working on. So per you all's request, I'm going to keep emphasizing that until the ritual's done. Per you all's request, I have gone ahead and structured and scheduled a collective cord cutting and blockage removal ritual. It will take place Sunday, February 15th between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern, okay? The price, it varies. If you are not participating in Rich Spirit at all, it's $33.33. If you are participating in Rich Spirit at the bronze level, it's $11.11. If you are participating in Rich Spirit at the gold or silver level, just show up. You don't have to pay. It's included in your fee for Rich Spirit, okay? But this will be a 2-hour ritual that we do collectively over Zoom. After our collective work over Zoom is done, you will have a recipe for a spiritual bath, as well as some more ritual practice that you need to do that night once the Zoom is over, okay? So I strongly encourage you all to take advantage of that, to join that, especially if you know that you have blockages that need to be removed, things that you need to work through, okay? Rich Spirit. Rich Spirit takes place February 16th through the 19th. If you know that you have big financial breakthrough that you want to see happen in 2026, I strongly encourage you to join us for Rich Spirit. It is a tiered prosperity ritual. So $40, $75, $150. Each tier comes with different things. I am not going to go through every single tier here on the live. If you want more information to figure out what is most accessible to you and what's going to help you in terms of bringing through the transformation you want, join the WhatsApp link that is in the description, and you can get the information about each tier as well as how to pay, supply list, everything that comes from that, okay? We are officially 2 weeks away from the 2026 forecast readings no longer being available, okay? There's exactly 2 weeks left. They will not be available after February 7th. I mean it this time. Last year, y'all guilted and begged me into extending it. I'm not fucking doing that because I have other things that I need to work on. I have another product that I'm trying to launch, right? So I can't do these forecast readings forever. But if you know that you would like a 2026 forecast reading, if you have not already booked it, please go ahead and book it. There are two versions. One that comes with a full natal chart analysis and breakdown, comes with projections over the year based on your natal chart transits, and then 4 tarot spreads. If you do not want the natal chart information, you can go ahead and get the mini version, which just comes with the 4 tarot spreads and a 5th question of your choosing, okay? So those are the main things I'm working on right now. You guys know that the retreat will be this July. If you have questions about the retreat in San Diego, please ask them. I will talk about the retreat in more detail in coming weeks, but I really, really want to get as many people supported with the 2026 forecast as I can before it is no longer available, okay? So those are updates. Let's go ahead and look through the questions. I see your love offering, Sanidra. I see your love offering, Dulcinea. Nicole, if you have a question, please type out your question because I see that you also left a love offering. We're going to go ahead and start with Sanidra and get Sanidra's question out of the way. Sanidra said that the yearly forecasts are very insightful. Thank you, Sanidra. I believe that they are too. It's my favorite service to give. And you guys hear me say that all the time. I love doing the forecast readings. New Year's is my favorite holiday. I love the ability to start over every year, and helping people figure out what is in store for them in the year ahead makes me really, really happy. So if you've not already gotten your forecast, go ahead and get it, okay? My son, Raiden, and I have been arguing a lot lately. What guidance, wisdom, or message do my ancestors have for me regarding him? Ancestors, Sanidra is having a lot of arguments and conflicts with her baby. And we know that she loves her children. We know that her children love her. Please give us wisdom around what she needs to know that will cool the energy between her and her son, that will bring peace and sweetness to their communication, that will allow her to move beyond this moment of difficulty with her baby. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. You said besides whooping his ass. Don't whoop his ass. Don't. That'll just make things worse. It'll make you feel like you're getting the rage out in the moment, but it'll make things worse in the long run. And here's the thing. I do not have children of my own, but I've helped raise many children in my family, both my siblings and some of my nieces and nephews. Teenagers ain't no hoe. And they will make, if you've never thought about hitting them before, they will make you want to bust them in the throat just by the very nature of how they behave. Girl, you gotta get you the heavy bag or whatever it is. Get you some boxing gloves, get you a heavy bag. If you can get to the gym, do that. but try not to hit him. I think sometimes we forget that our children are, especially when they're in their teenage years, they're becoming adults, right? I think recognizing that he is stressed himself is very important, right? Two of Pentacles energy is he's 18, but he's not too old to get one. Oh, he's still a baby. 18 is a baby. We want to believe when we hit 18 we're grown, but 18 is a baby. He's stressed, and now that you shared with me that he's 18, it makes sense. He's stressed and he feels like he's walking a tightrope. Feeling like, okay, I'm an adult now, but I don't know what I'm doing, and I still feel like a child in a lot of ways, right? So I think that the more that you can depersonalize a lot of what he's doing, even though it's frustrating, and contextualize it in light of him being stressed, the easier it will be for you to not absorb it, right? And the easier it'll be for you to be non-reactionary. We have the Page of Cups. Here's the thing. Is he delusional? Yes, he's an 18-year-old man, an 18-year-old black man in the world. He is very delusional. And that can be really, really frustrating, right? When we witness somebody in their Page of Cups, Piscean delusion, it can be really tempting for us to want to bring them down to reality, but they're not ready for that. It's going to make them lash out, right? Give him affirmation, give him the nurturing and the care that he needs, even though it may not feel like the most logical thing for you right now. The more that you tell him that he don't know shit, the more it's going to make him defensive, right? Even if you don't understand his dreams or the things he's going after, support him anyway. And you can tell him, like, I don't get it, I don't think that's right, but I love you, right? And even that's enough. There's a nurturing in the face of his stupidity, and I'm going to use that word because Spirit gave me permission. There's a nurturing that you need to give him in the face of his stupidity, even though it doesn't feel great, okay? We have the Empress. Here's the thing. As a mother, you want to be overgiving. You want to protect him. You want to save him from his bad decisions. Because he is 18 and a man now, you got to let him fall on his head. You got to let him hit his head. So a lot of the nurturing and a lot of the babying and the micromanaging that you were used to doing to him, you know, you got to pour that into yourself right now. The only reason why you are so irritated by his decision making is because instead of seeing him as an 18-year-old, you see him as an 8-year-old. And 8-year-old him needed micromanaging. They needed these conversations. They needed you to harp on them. Back off. It don't feel right and it's frustrating, but back off. And all the energy that you are used to trying to pour into him, pour that into yourself right now. That is the challenge that the Emperor provides as a mother. Okay, the baby's grown now. He's grown. And you may not like how he moves, but it's not about you liking it. Your responsibility now is to figure out how to take that nurturing energy that you're used to pouring into, and I'm going to say this because Spirit told me to say it, low-key forcing onto him, and figuring out how to pour it into you instead, okay? I hope that that was helpful. I hope that that resonated with you. Let me know. Okay, I see you, KFS. I'm going to do Dulcinea, and then I'll do you, KFS. If there's anyone else that would like a reading, please go ahead and submit your love offerings now. Sunidra, let me know if that was helpful. Dulcinea wants to know, what guidance can the ancestors provide regarding finding a new mentor in my department? Also, if there was anybody that did not get the and reclaim reading from the finance happy hour that I did earlier this week, and you want that reading now, I'm more than happy to do that reading for you now. You just have to send 1111 to my Cash App or my PayPal, and I can go back and do that reading for you if you were not able to get it Thursday, okay? Sisters, what does Dulcinea need to know that will allow her to find a new mentor in her department? What is the wisdom and the guidance that she needs that will allow her to find a new mentor who is aligned with her in her work, and who will be of help to her. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. I know you want him to make better decisions, baby, but here's the reality. When you were his age, you didn't make good decisions. When I was his age, I didn't make good decisions. Most 18-year-olds are going to make shitty decisions. And all we can do is be supportive so that when they make this shitty decision, we can help them find a way out of it. If we nag them or we judge them or we make them feel like we don't, we're just at them, right? Then when they fuck up, they're not going to come to us. And think about it. Who do you want him to come to when he fucks up? Do you want him to come to you? Or do you want him to rely on his dumbass friends who are equally as stupid? You want him to come to you, right? Clarify the Five of Wands. What is the Five of Wands trying to tell us in regards to Dulcinea finding a new mentor? You need to find a mentor who's going to be really disciplined with you. And you need a mentor who's not wrapped up in the politics of your department, right? I'm trying to figure out a way to say this because I don't like the word that the spirits have given me. Respectfully, love you, ancestors. You need a mentor who's not a busybody. I don't know any other way to say it, right? We have judgment in reverse, right? There are certain things that you are not able to see clearly about the future of your education and what is necessary in terms of you being able to not just graduate, but to get a job after you graduated, right? There's a lack of wisdom about the long game that you have, right? And that doesn't mean that you aren't a good student, because you are a good student. But there's just a naivete around what being in academia requires and how to navigate it, right? So you need somebody who is keenly aware of those things and deeply strategic about it, right? That's what I mean when I say you need a mentor who's not a busybody. The busybody mentors have fights with a lot of people. They've made a lot of enemies. They're also, and I hate to say this, sometimey, right? Five of Wands is petty disputes and arguments. You really don't have the luxury of having a mentor who gets distracted from their own work or the work of giving feedback to their students because they get wrapped up in whatever is going on in the energy of the department or on the campus, right? This has to be somebody who's disciplined enough to keep their head down and work hard, right? Because here's the thing. Those busybody professors may be flashy and impressive, but when you are in a position, when you're in the ninth hour and you need your chapter back, you don't have 3 months to wait on them responding to a fucking chapter because they're wrapped up in a whole bunch of meetings or they're doing press conferences or they're at, whatever national association or whatever the fuck, right? You just don't have time for that. So you need somebody who is very strategic and ruthless about research, very strategic and ruthless about the business of getting the education done. Capricorn energy is very determined. They're very ruthless. They put their heads down. They work very, very, very hard. So you need a worker bee mentor. And that may not be the sexiest or the most flashy thing, but it's what's going to help you actually get your degree so that you can get the fuck out of there. Here's the thing. If you get a busybody, Five of Wands mentor, it's going to be a nightmare for you. You're going to lose a lot of sleep. They're not going to give you feedback routinely. You're going to feel like you're punching in the dark a lot, right? So that's the wisdom that Spirit has for you. It's a mentor, not a friend. That's literally what I'm hearing right now. It's a mentor, not a friend. So they may not be somebody that you would want to go and get a drink with, but are they going to help you get your degree? Are you going to be able to have your work passed through and evaluated? Absolutely. And that's much more important than liking the person or being impressed by the person. Let me know if that resonates for you. Let me know if that was helpful. If there's anyone else that would like a reading, go ahead and submit your love offering now, and I can get to you after KFS. KFS wants to know, what do my ancestors want me to focus on most right now? Ancestors, angels, sin masters, spirits of walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom does KFS need from the spirits in her court? What do her ancestors want her to be aware of in this present moment, in this current moment? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. It resonates. Thank you. Good. I'm glad that that was helpful for you, Dulcinea. They want you to know that life is better than what you feel like it is, and an opportunity is really about to pick up for you. If you have been feeling forlorn, that doesn't feel like the right word. If you've been feeling defeatist lately, it would be a good idea for you to take a spiritual bath or do some sort of head wash. You really got to make sure that you're moving from the reality of where your life is and not from your fears or projections. Because again, opportunity is about to pick up for you. And in order for you to be in the energy of positivity that allows you to take advantage of those opportunities, you have to see your world clearly. Literally, you have to see your world clearly. There's a new chapter you're stepping into, and it's one of celebration, right? But there's a part of you that still feels like things are going wrong, right? When we talk about the delusion of Pisces and the Page of Cups, we automatically think about the optimism. But sometimes that escapism and that escapism from reality can make them see things worse than what it is. And I get that with you. Things are actually really good in your life, right? So it's being spiritually attuned is amazing and it's a beautiful thing, but make sure that it's bringing you, it's grounding you. It's bringing you to the reality of what's going on in your life, right? Eight of Wands, things are about to pick up for you and move really, really quickly. So that's another reason why Spirit is asking you to get grounded and to get ready, because if you can be in an energy where you're capable of saying yes to the blessings coming to you and taking on challenges, that's really going to serve you and work out in your favor, okay? I hope that that resonates with you. I hope that that was helpful. Let me know if you need me to clarify or anything. I don't see anyone else submitting offerings, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for the night. I'm assuming that no one else wants either the release and reclaim reading or just a general reading tonight. I will be back here Thursday. Do I have the authority to do herbal work? Okay, I got you. Sisters, angels, and masters, spirits, walk with me. Does Nicole have the authority to do herbal work? Give us wisdom around what that means for her and how that shows up in her life. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. I'm glad to help that hear that, KFS. Thank you. Yes, but you need training. Absolutely. We have the Page of Pentacles, which is literally a card of training. It's the card of the apprentice, right? It's somebody who's learning how to do a thing through doing and through gaining experience. So you absolutely do need some training around herbalism, spiritual herbalism, but you absolutely have permission. Nine of Cups is going to bring a lot of clarity into your life. It'll also be a tool set or a skill set that you will be very, very grateful to have, right? The knowledge you gain from herbalism will support you in making sure that there's equal flow in your life and that your cups stay full. Um, but there's still a lot of information for you to gather, still a lot of research to be done. But short answer, yes, you have the authority to do it. That is something that your spirits really want you to prioritize. Love you all. Take care. I'll be back here Thursday at 8 o'clock. We'll be doing an astro hour reading on Thursday. You know what? Some of you guys really, really wanted me to do another happy hour because I did a lecture this past time. Y'all want to talk shit. So I'm not 100% sold on astro hour. I'll know by the middle of the week whether to be astro hour or happy hour. But I want you all to take care. You know where to find me if you need me. Please, 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 if you have not already gotten your 2026 forecast, book it. It will not be available after the 7th, okay? And I will see you all Thursday. Take care. Bye.